So, people have been asking for Psalm 19 for a very, very long time, and I was avoiding it because it is 176 verses. So this will be interesting. I'm basically just gonna go until my mouth is dry, and then I'll stop for part 2, and I don't know how many parts this will be. But I'm going to do an end-time Bible study over Psalm 119. Ignore that, I hit my foot. But it starts off as, "Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies and that seek him with their whole heart. They also do no iniquity, they walk in his ways. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. Then shall I not be ashamed when I have respect unto all the commandments. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart when I shall have learned thy righteous judgments. I will keep thy statutes. Oh, forsake me not utterly." I guess this is a good place to kind of just pause and take notes. But I guess I'll do this one. But I basically do it. I didn't do it during. Normally when I'm reading through and I'm not in front of a camera, I circle the names and titles of God while I'm reading. But because I'm in front of a camera, I don't want to have to do this constantly while I'm reading and then take breaks. So in order to make it flow better, I don't do it while I'm recording. But normally what I do is I do this just to keep myself focused, because I've always had a problem with attention. And so if you're someone who... Theo. My cat's whining. So if you're someone who has struggles with paying attention to things, then I would definitely suggest it, because I used to have a horrible, horrible attention span. It took me forever to read one page or one sentence, really. And so I'd go through and I'd just do that, and that would keep me paying attention, and I know for sure I was actually reading and paying attention to what I read. And it helped me be able to understand what I was reading more, because then I could actually pay attention to it, and so I could explain it to someone else, while when I wasn't doing this, I would read it and then not remember half of what I read. But it says, "Blessed are those that are undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord." So, it is obviously very important to walk in the law of the Lord. Then it says, "Blessed are those that keep his testimonies and that seek him with the whole heart. And they don't walk in iniquity, they walk in his ways. And they keep his precepts diligently. And then, oh, that my ways are directed to keep thy statutes, then I will not be ashamed. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart, then I have learned the law." Okay, so this is like part of the things that I do. I like to make lists. So I'll write the blessed. And so I write down what they do. So the blessed do this. They walk in the law of the Lord, and they keep his testimonies. And they seek him with their whole heart. Okay. They do no iniquity. That was really rough. And they keep his precepts. Oopsies, that was bad. There we go. His precepts. Now, if you're anything like me, you like to define words that aren't just readily known. So for instance, I'll go to BibleStudyTools.com. Then I'll look up Psalm 119. What's a good word? I'll use precepts, I guess. Okay, so I want to know what precepts means. This can only work in the KJV version. So you'll have to go to the KJV and then find that little, there it is. Find the little settings. Sometimes it doesn't pop up, which is weird. And then you press Strong's number and then you click precepts. And so over here, if it loads, can you see what I'm doing? Yes, you can. Okay. So I would circle precepts and then I'd define it on the side. Basically it's just, well, what this has, this wasn't very helpful. It just says precepts or statute. But we'll just look up the word. That makes it easier. Normally, it's really good about being able to have a very specific definition. But I guess this one wasn't one definition. And so a general rule intended to regulate behavior or thought, which is what that sounded like. So I would put a statute, and then to clarify, I would put a general rule intended to regulate behavior or thought. Okay, so that's what a precept is. Oh, I just knocked that over. So that's what a precept is. And we have this on the side. What I normally do is I bubble it in just so I know that this all goes together. I didn't do this as much. I really toned, I don't know if you noticed on Instagram, but I really toned down everything that I did, and then I started doing more simple things like this. I didn't do all my squiggly, but I did in that one. But I didn't do any of my squiggly boxes and stuff that I normally do. But that's what I normally do. And then I will that my ways are directed to keep thy statutes, that then shall I not be ashamed. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart, and when I have learned thy righteous judgments. What I'm going to do is look really quickly in this study Bible and see if it has anything interesting about it. Okay, so I have a study Bible that tells me all the places where a verse references another verse, but if you do not have one, what you can do is go to BibleHub.com, and then we're looking at, let's just say we're working at Psalm 119 and not 199, 119 verse 1. So if you go down, if you're looking at the specific verse, you can go down or is it on the side? It's either on the side or down. It's right here. So there's a thing called the cross-reference, and then it'll tell you all the times where this one verse references another verse, or is very similar to another verse, or says basically the same thing as another verse, but they're not directly referencing it. Okay, so when we look at 18:1, it says Psalm 128:1. So Psalm 128:1. And then Psalm 3 is 1 John 3:9, and then 5:18. So 3 is 1 John 3:9, 3:9, and oh, I should put that, and 5:18. Yeah, 5:18. I'll put a little bracket there so it doesn't get confused with the other one. Okay, and then verse 6, which we have gotten to, it says, Then shall I not be ashamed when I have respect unto all thy commandments. And then it has Job 22:26. Job 22:26. Job 22:26. And 1 John 2:28. 1 John 2:28. That's a lot of 1 Johns. And then this says, I will praise thee with uprightness of heart. And then what I normally do is when I see a command, something like that, I would be like, praise him. Like that, something like that. Okay, and then verse 7, verse 171 of Psalm, not 119, so Psalm 119, 171. Okay, now I will go back and just, no it does not, yes it does. Okay, I will go back and highlight things that I didn't highlight. And this would be where, even though it's technically an end-time Bible study, I'll just skip through it or fast forward through it. Or, oh, wrong one. Oh, it's right here. Okay, now I'll do the Beth part, and this is taking a lot longer than I thought it would, so I'm really worried that this is going to turn into a 42-week thing. But, it says, Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way, by taking heed thereunto according to thy word. With my whole heart I have sought thee. O let me not wander from thy commandments. Thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee. Blessed art thou, O Lord, teach us thy commandments. With lips I have declared all the judgments of thy mouth. I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimonies as much as in all richness. I will meditate on thy precepts and have respect unto thy ways. I will be diligent. I will delight myself in thy statutes. I will not forget thy word. And so basically a trend I've been noticing, which I guess someone probably else has noticed, it talks about his statutes, his commandments, and his ways in almost every single verse. Like, watch. So, wherewith shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereunto unto thy word. And it says, with my whole heart I have sought thee, let me not wander from thy commandments. Thy word have I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against thee. So, there's thy word. And blessed art thou, O Lord, teach me thy statutes. And it says, with my lips have I declared all the judgments of thy mouth. That's like, so every verse has some form of, I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimonies, as much as in all richness. I will meditate on thy precepts. If this is like some common thing that everyone knows, I'm going to feel really stupid. But, and it also says thy ways. And then it says, I will delight myself in thy statutes. I will not forget thy word. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if anyone else noticed it, and it's probably something that's very common knowledge, and I just never noticed it until now, which goes back to what I was saying. I have a bad attention span. So I finally realized that the fan was on, and that probably made the audio horrible, but I can't afford a mic, and I can't afford a good camera because I'm a broke college kid, so I guess this is the best I can do. But to start off, I've already highlighted it, I guess, the first time I was reading through, because I purposely didn't journal anything in this while I was reading through normally, because I knew that I would eventually come and do it in the camera, because Psalm 119 was the one, I'm not even kidding, has been most requested from any time I ever ask if anyone wants anything. They're always like, Psalm 119. And at first I thought it was just because people wanted to like joke around because it's like 176 verses. And I was like, there's no way I can do that in a video, but whatever. I guess this will just be a very, very long series. But the first thing that I have noticed clearly before I was doing it was how shall a young man cleanse his ways? So I'm pretty sure I'll just go to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I liked how one of them did it. Okay, so the ESV puts it as, how can a young man stay pure? By guarding it according to your word. The point I would get out of it is live according Okay, so it is recording. I had to make sure. So I basically just rewrote it. This is the ESV version, and this is what my takeaway would be. So it says, how can a young man stay pure? By guarding it according to your word. And so I said, live according to his word, and it will keep you on the path that pursues holiness. And so it says, with all my heart I've sought thee, let me not wander from thy commandments. Thy word have I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against thee. That's like one of the most iconic verses in Psalms. Or I say iconic, but I mean more like everyone knows it. And so it's something that everyone knows. Blessed art thou, O Lord, that teach me thy commandments. And so basically what I'm getting out of this is that I'm gonna start another list, and it will be to do. It's my to-do list. It would be, okay, obey and listen. Oops, that was a bad one. Listen to his, I keep messing up all of the S's, word. Okay, and then another one would be, let me not wander from thy commandments, have in my heart, and not sinning against thee. That would fall under living according to his word. Where's yellow? I haven't used yellow in a while. Okay. Rejoice in his testimonies, meditate in his precepts, respect his ways, delight yourself in his word, and don't forget his word. So I'm gonna change thy testimonies and thy precepts all to his word, because that's basically what it is, and that will just make it a lot more simple. So rejoice in his word, meditate on his word. Oops. On his word. I'm so bad at writing. I haven't been in school for like a week, and I'm already forgetting how to do English. Okay, respect his word. Actually, I guess that one makes more sense with ways. I'm gonna put both, his ways / word. Oh my, there we go. Delight in his word. I have to let my dog in. And then don't forget his word. Okay, so that will also be its own little thing. And of course the air kicks on as soon as I'm wanting to do this. I guess seek him with your whole heart. And there's a lot in that verse, so you could be like, let me not wander from your commandments, and seek him with your whole heart, meaning like you have to give yourself fully devoted to him. And there's so many verses in here that like you could just go on and then never get off of because you just have it. It's just a tangent. Deal bountifully with thy servant that I may live. Oh no, I forgot to do the looking at what the verses reference. I forgot to look at the references. Okay, so now we're in verse 9. Okay, so verse 10 is 2 Chronicles. I'll just do this one right here. 2 Chronicles 15:15. 15:15. And then verse 11. Oh, that's the verse. Psalm 37:1. I'll just go ahead and underline this. Psalm 37:31 and Luke 2:19 and 51. So if you didn't hear, I said verse 10 is referencing. Verse 10 references or sounds like 2 Chronicles 15:15, and verse 11 either references or sounds a lot like or is referenced by Psalm 37:31 and Luke 2:19 and 51 of that same chapter. Okay, and verse 12, basically it just references a bunch of the same verses in this exact chapter. Verse 13 is Psalm 34:11. And then verse 15 is also a bunch of verses in this same book. And then we didn't get to 17 yet. So, again, this is where I go and I'm going to go in and highlight everything. So this is probably one I'll just skip over. And then you'll see the finished product as I skip to it. But okay, we have done 2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. We've done 2 out of 22 little sections of this chapter. That's beautiful. Okay, I'll try to finish the end of this page, and if I don't, then I'll just split it into 2 if it gets way too long, because I know that some people prefer like 2 20-minute videos rather than 1 40-minute video, but then there are a lot of people who prefer 1 40-minute video. I guess I'll just ask you as a poll. I don't know. But it says, deal bountifully with thy servant that I may live and keep. I'm just going to keep doing that. Keep thy word. Open thou my eyes that I may behold behold wondrous things out of thy law. I am a stranger in earth, hide not thy commandments for me. My soul breaketh for the longing that it hath unto thy judgments at all times. Thou hast rebuked the... See, that's why I don't really like doing it while I'm reading, because I just broke up an entire sentence. Thou hast rebuked the proud that are cursed, which do err from thy commandments. Remove me reproach and contempt, for I have kept thy testimonies. Princes also did sit and speak against me, but thy servant did meditate in thy statutes. Thy testimonies thy testimonies are also my delight and my counselors. So now I'll go back and do it. So thy commandments, just so we can visualize like how many times that one of those words are being used. Thy testimonies. Princes did speak against me and did meditate on thy statutes. Thy testimonies are also my delight. Okay. So it says, deal bountifully with thy servant, that I may live and keep thy word. I'm going to start highlighting some of these. They keep talking about this in this color. Open thou eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of thy law. This requires study. So, honestly, this makes me think of when the Bible says that, oh goodness, the apostles were given understanding by God, and God opened their eyes and gave them understanding. Jesus opened the eyes of the, or disciples, I guess is a better word to use, disciples. And they receive greater understanding. Is that what the phrasing is? I'm really bad about like remembering something out of the Bible, but not being able to recall exactly what it says. And so and he opened the minds unto, here it is. Okay. Then opened he their understanding, that they may understand the scriptures. Maybe, I don't know where I got greater understanding from. Okay, so that's Luke 24:45. So Luke 24:45. And then leads to okay. Basically, I just said that Luke 24:25, that led them to research more, and so search the word is basically what I got out of that. Just keep searching the word, because we want to behold the wondrous things out of his law. Okay, I'm a stranger in earth, and hide not thy commandments from me. My soul breaketh for the longing that it has for thy judgments. This is how we should want to be. Like, I'm going to write it down, but we should have this longing for the word. And so that's the attitude we need to seek to have, is we want to be able to say that we long to be able to to read and seek his judgments. This is either an old pen or this pen is going out very quickly. I don't know. Oh, it is. No, it's not. These are two different colors. I don't know. Anywho, thou hast rebuked the proud and that are cursed, which do err from thy commandments. Remove from me reproach, for I kept thy commandments. Princes did speak against me. But okay, so this would be a good example of like what to do during conflict. I'll use this one, I guess. So princes did sit and speak against me, but thy servant did meditate on their statutes. So, this chair is making so much noise. I need a new chair. The servants did meditate in thy statutes, so when in conflict... Ugh, what am I doing? I can't spell. Conflict, meditate and think on his word. Let it guide you. There we go. So I said, this made me kind of think of conflict. So I said, when in conflict, meditate and think on his word and let it guide you. I'll underline it. And then my testimonies are the delight and my counselors. Okay, now, here's what we gotta do. I'm gonna do the thing where I speed this up or just completely cut it out, and I will highlight again. Okay, and last one, it says, my soul cleaveth, and last one, it says, my soul cleaveth unto the dust. Quicken thou me according to thy word. I have declared my ways, and thou hast heard me. Teach me thy statutes. Make me to understand the way of thy precepts, so I shall talk thy wondrous works. My soul melteth from heaviness. Strengthen me according to thy word. Remove from me the way of lying. Sorry, that was completely off. Remove from me the way of lying, and grant me thy law graciously. I have chosen the way of truth. Thy judgments have I laid before me. I have stuck unto thy testimonies. O Lord, put me not to shame. I will run the way of thy commandments when thou shalt enlarge my heart. Okay. So this is another one. I guess this will be the last one because we got to be able to do this in a timely manner. But it says, my soul cleaveth to the dust, and according to thy word. And then I will declare my ways, teach me thy statutes. And it says, thy precepts, thy wondrous works. So show me according to thy word. Remember the way of the living and grant me thy law. Graciously of choosing the truth, thy judgments, struck according to thy testimonies, and then thy commandments. There we go. See, it just happens. There's just one each verse, basically. But yeah. So my soul cleaveth unto the dust. Quicken me according to thy truth. I have declared my ways, and thou hast heard me. Teach me thy statutes. This is what I want to look this one a different form of this verse. Psalm 119. 26. So it says, I have gave an account of my ways, and you answered me. Teach me your decrees. I have told you my plans, and you have answered. Now teach me your decrees. When I told you of my ways, you answered me. Teach me your statutes. I recounted my ways, and you answered me. Teach me your statutes. I have declared my ways, and you answered me. Teach me my statutes. I have told of my ways, and you answered me. Basically, what I thought when I read that was kind of something that I would need to hear, especially right now, considering I'm going into senior year of college. So I'm really trying to figure out what my ways are because I still have no idea. So I have declared my ways. Thou hast me, teach me your statutes. Now, this may make no sense to you, but when I read that, my brain went to, okay, I'll tell you what my plans are, but if my plans aren't your plans, then let me know what your plans are, if that makes any sense. So, tell God about your plans, but be ready to change them if they don't line up with his. So I said, tell God about your plans, but be ready to change them if they don't line up with his. And that's kind of what I thought when I read it, but maybe you thought something completely different. It says, make me understand the way of thy precepts, so shall I talk of the wonders of thy works. And so this goes into like kind of evangelizing, witnessing, just make sure you're talking about his works. There we go. My soul method for heaviness, strengthen me according to thy word. You could put, you can find strength in his word. Okay, so remove me from the way of lying, grant me law graciously. I have chosen the way of truth, thy judgments have I laid before me. I have stuck unto thy testimonies, put me not to shame. I will run the way of thy commandments. This also kind of lines up with this. And so this one, they both do. Okay. Now I'll do highlighting one more time. Actually, no, I forgot. We should look to see if there are any references, which there probably are, especially in this area. Okay, keep God's testimonies is what they have above this one. Or no, understand God's precepts is what they have above this one. So we're at 25 through 32. So we have 25 is Psalm 44, 25. And then 26 is more in this specific chapter. 27 is more in this specific chapter. I think that's what it said. Let's go down to 29 maybe? Nope, there's no 29. It jumps down to 32. So this one goes to First Kings. First Kings 4:29. Isaiah 60 verse 5, and then 2 Corinthians 6:11. So this either is referenced by or has the same idea or theme as 1 Kings 4:29, Isaiah 60 verse 5, and then 2 Corinthians 6:11. That's verse 32. And then we said verse 25 is referencing or talking about something the same way, or it references Psalm 44:25. Now I'll do the highlighting, and then we'll be done. Okay, and what I do really quick last minute, is I write something at the top that I think encompasses the entire thing. And what I would get out of all of this is pay attention. I'm not the best at this, so I might look a little weird. To his word. Okay, so that's what I would get out of all of this, and I hope this was, I'm gonna do 2 outros just in case, and then I'll make sure that I have at least one for each, or I could just do the same one. But I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you liked it, and it was entertaining, and you could listen along to it. It seems like it's gonna be a very long one, which I guess means it's more in depth, which is what everyone wants. But I think it's a good idea to go through and see if this really does happen in every single verse. So if you want to read this one with me, or if you were reading along with me, I would keep going. and just see, because that's so interesting how each one has something related to that. But I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys had fun, and I'll see you next time.